Imagine a scorching day in the desert, the blazing sun on the horizon, and an elderly man, Abraham, sitting at the entrance of his tent. This is the beginning of one of the most remarkable stories in the Bible, where the divine meets the human in a promise of hope and faith. Abraham was resting in the heat of the day under the great oaks of Mamre, when he looked up and saw three men standing nearby. Without hesitation, he quickly got up, ran to them, and greeted them humbly, bowing to the ground. He did not yet realize that he was in the presence of the Lord himself, accompanied by angels, but his hospitable heart led him to offer them all he had. "Please, do not pass by. Let me bring you water to wash your feet and some food to refresh yourselves before you continue on your way," Abraham said. The three men accepted, and with great enthusiasm, Abraham hurried to prepare a banquet. He instructed Sarah to knead flour and bake bread, and at the same time he ordered his servant to prepare the finest calf. He served the meal with milk and butter and stood nearby as they ate under the shade of the trees. During the conversation, one of the visitors spoke and said, "I will return next year, and by then your wife Sarah will have a son." Sarah, listening from inside the tent, could not help but laugh. She thought, "How could I have a child in my old age, being barren and with such an elderly husband?" But the Lord, who knows every heart, asked, "Why did Sarah laugh? Is anything too difficult for God?" After finishing their meal, the three men stood up and looked towards Sodom. As a good host, Abraham decided to accompany them part of the way. It was then that the Lord reflected, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do?" Abraham, who had been chosen to be the father of a great nation, was about to learn of God's judgment upon the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. The Lord said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, and their sin so grievous, that I will go down and see if their actions are as bad as the cry that has reached me." With this revelation, Abraham understood the gravity of the moment. Deeply concerned for the people living in Sodom, Abraham began to intercede before God. He asked, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city?" And the Lord replied, "If I find 50 righteous people in Sodom, I will spare the entire city for their sake." Abraham continued pleading with humility, lowering the number. "What if there are only 45? What if there are 30? Finally, he reached 10, and the Lord assured him, "If I find 10 righteous people, I will not destroy it." The conversation ended, and the visitors continued their journey towards Sodom, while Abraham returned home, trusting in God's justice and mercy. This story reveals two extraordinary aspects of God: His divine justice, which does not tolerate sin, and His immense mercy, always willing to listen to those who intercede for others. It also showcases Abraham's compassionate heart, who persistently pleaded for the souls of a condemned city. Like Abraham, we are called to trust in God's promises, even when they seem impossible, and to intercede with faith and love for those in need of divine grace. May this story inspire us to seek God with humility, trust in His plan, and be intercessors for those who need His grace the most, because the God who promised Sarah a son is the same God who hears our prayers today.